Hope Florida has expanded from the child welfare to other parts of state government, including elder affairs. Now we have the ability with law enforcement. They have the resource cards so they can quickly connect citizens in need on the Hope hotline and then be connected with the Hope Navigator. The Hope Navigators connect individuals in need with resources, set long-term goals, and develop a strategic plan to overcome barriers and achieve success. So to date, as I had mentioned, we had 30,000 Floridians have either completely eliminated or reduced their reliance on public assistance. That is out of 118,000 Floridians that have been referred to Hope Florida. Now, not all of them were on public assistance, obviously. And then the savings to taxpayers has been actually $108 million, so more than $100 million. And so today's announcement builds off this success. Hope Florida now officially can announce that we have a liaison station in the sheriff's offices in every one of Florida's 67 counties. These liaisons now serve as a dedicated person on staff who acts as a point of contact between the sheriff's office and Hope Florida, serves as a trained expert in Hope Florida, receives Hope Florida materials to distribute within their office, and trains others on the philosophy and functions of Hope Florida. It's going to help many more Floridians in need connect with those in Florida who can help. We are proud of the work that our law enforcement officers are doing as ambassadors of Hope Florida to equip, inform, and assist members of the public in connecting them with Hope Navigators. And I think this has the potential to be very, very positive, because if you talk to some of these guys, and as I have through the years, I mean, what I think most people in law enforcement will tell you is the problems that we have in criminal justice, there's just a subset of that is mental health problems. And so these folks, perhaps if there had been an intervention earlier, would not have ended up devolving into committing criminal acts. So this is a great pathway as these officers are identifying folks to be able to get them on their feet and get them on a more productive path. So we are delivering on the commitment that we've made from the first day I was governor to support our law enforcement community. I really do hope that as the legislature goes through the budget, that we will have strong support in the budget for the men and women in law enforcement. They've earned it, and our support is very much needed. So thanks for everybody that's been involved with this. We'll hear from Casey, then we'll hear from Sheriff Permel, and then we'll hear from Senator Jay Collins. So, Casey, floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I can't thank the sheriffs enough. To have cooperation from all 67 counties across the state of Florida is really special. But I think they understand the mission of what we're ultimately trying to do, right? When somebody is in need of help, do you get a check, government assistance, and that's where the story ends? Or can we help you on a pathway to economic self-sufficiency? Can we provide you a lifeline of hope? At the end of the day, we want to help people who are suffering, and they do not know where to turn. Can you imagine what it must be like for a single mom who's sitting there at the dining room table trying to figure out how she's going to keep the lights on, how she's going to be able to provide educational opportunities for her kids, how she's going to make sure that they have school supplies, how she can keep down a job, how she can make sure that they're doing their homework, and she's taken on this burden all by herself, and she doesn't know where to turn to get help. We have the solution. The solution is not just government. The solution is out there in the communities. It's always been there. But what we do now is when that mom either is coming into the government system, or what we do, we call them. We know you're on government assistance. We say to that single mom, hey, we see you're struggling. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because we want to help. And now we take you on a pathway. That pathway starts not with government, but with all of the nonprofits who have been out there in the community for years and years providing supports, but the two never knew that they were there. The single mom didn't know to go down the street to ask this nonprofit for this, that, or the other. We make a connection now. We also make a connection with our faith-based communities because they've been the biggest untapped resource as it pertains to help with government. We have 16.5 million people of faith across this state, 20,000 institutions. You think if they knew that mom was struggling and needed some help, and how cool would it be if they could show up at her front doorstep with a plate of lasagna to say, I heard you were going through some tough times. We got you. We can do that in the state of Florida because We've created the connections. This isn't about creating a program. It's about a philosophy. How does government operate? How do we truly help somebody out of a culture of dependency on a pathway to economic self-sufficiency, hope, and at the end of the day, happiness? If we as government have the opportunity to be able to provide happiness for somebody, we have an obligation, if they want to take that path, to do everything we can to support them. And I'm talking about a single mom because I have somebody in the back of my mind. Her name is Ginger. And you can go on X and you can see her story. And it's incredible. Because when you know what she was going through, she was sitting in her car. She didn't have a high school diploma. She didn't know what she was going to do. She was working at a pool store. She was selling pool chemicals. She had 2 kids. And she was lost. We called her. And we said exactly what I told you before. We said, hey, Ginger, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And she said, nobody asked me that question. Nobody took an interest in that way to give me hope. And we went down a path. And do you know what that path included? A nonprofit that she didn't know was there that helped her with her utilities and helped her with her rent. And then we went from there. Workforce, educational opportunities through our colleges, vocational, all of this stuff. There are 600,000 jobs available in the state of Florida right now. There are programs through the thanks to the governor that provide the ability to get the skills to get those jobs, but it's all siloed. And again, I go back to that single mom who's sitting at the table. Is she supposed to go to Google and figure all this out? Like, how do I go? This video? We do it for her. We provide the path. Yeah, you want to be able to do this? This is your goal, to be a medical technician, which was her goal. Ginger said, we're going to help you map that out. And we did. We showed her how to get the skills. We made the connection. We helped guide her through the process. Now she's a licensed medical professional. She's a specialist. And when she tells her story, she'll do it with tears in her eyes. Not only because she knew she had it within her to live up to her God-given potential, but she looks to her kids. And she showed her children that the American dream is real because it's always been there. Government, because of the 1960s, is now uniquely positioned because people who are in need come into government. So what do we do when they're there? It's not case management. It's utilizing the resources exterior of government to provide those connections and to help people know that you can succeed in this country. You can do it. We're just going to help you along the way. And for Ginger, because we called her, or if you want to call one number and talk to somebody, we're going to help you map it out. It is so hard to be able to figure out where to go because it's all siloed. Do I go to this nonprofit and what do I say to them? Do I go to this faith-based community and will they laugh at me if I walk in the front door? Clearly they wouldn't, but do I ask them for meals? Do I do this? Where do I turn? What we're doing is empowering the communities, what they have always been there to do. But somewhere along the way they got separated. And now Hope Florida is a model not only for the state of Florida, not only provides hope for Floridians, it is a model for this nation. It's a model for other states who, he said, make a pilgrimage coming down here to Florida to see how can we legitimately help people in need? How can we make a difference in their lives? So I would say this program, it's not about me, it's not about the governor, it's about hope. Because we're in the position to really legitimately help people succeed. And so you'll see us continue to double down on this because it's a righteous, worthy, good thing to do to help somebody who's struggling. And anybody out there who doesn't know where to go, doesn't know where to turn, you're afraid, you're scared, you're sitting there and you feel like you're alone, call 833-GET-HOPE.